Hey guys, Javier here with the Real Javier Novoa channel, a platform and a modality that applies the principles of interiorism to living free. And I have a paradox for you today, and I'm just taking a little break from some work that we're doing here on the channel, and I was contemplating this, and I was actually watching the video of another great content creator on meditation and quantum resting, and we made a video about that a few videos ago. You can go and watch that. And the point came up in my mind, and I was contemplating this point. And that is a question, guys. You can ask yourself this question. And the question is it really important, guys? And the it that I'm asking about is it really important that we take effort to even accomplish in the physical? Here's where I'm going with this, and here's what triggered this contemplation. You can take this and run with it. You can contemplate over it. We can talk about it in the comments. But everybody who contemporarily talks about the aspects that we're talking about, which is quantum resting, which is meditation, which is spirituality, at least those teachers in the West market it as this. They say meditation is good and it's important, but you can't stay there and you shouldn't stay there. And the really important aspect is what you do after the meditation. It's what you do on the outer. It's how you apply that. My question is it really so? I know Eckhart Tolle said that this modality of being completely present makes you more alert on the outer. It'll make you better at your job. And it will. This is a fact. This is a byproduct of these modalities, that they make your life better. And of course, we talk about on the channel how this channel is all about making your life better. But if the modality works itself, and we know that it does, it proves itself time and time again, and you can prove it by going within, by being completely present, by spending time in meditation and contemplation, and then seeing how that gives you the insights, seeing how that gives you the dexterity, seeing how that makes your life better in financial terms, in freedom terms, in relationships. You'll see that this modality does that as a byproduct. But is that something that we should have at the forefront of our minds? Like Eckhart Tolle says, well, if it didn't make you better at your job, it wouldn't be worth it. But I ask you, is that true? Why can't we just emphasize sometimes staying in the present, staying in meditation, staying in contemplation, staying within? Because if you get down to the philosophy of Imaginism, if you get to people like the philosopher Fawcett and these other great philosophers who wrote, for example, the Zermatt dialogues, which were mentioned by Neville Goddard, they prove philosophically, guys, they prove through logic and through argumentation and through just contemplation that the inner is the outer. And science and physics is proving this. So the question is, why can't we live all inner? Well, if you know interiorism, you know that it is all inner, because the outer is the inner and the inner is the outer. So why is it therefore important that we worry about, we shouldn't meditate too much, we shouldn't be present too much, we should also be practical? I say don't be practical. I say don't emphasize being practical. Don't emphasize the results. Emphasize the inner. Emphasize being present. What I want you to do in the next few days to the next few weeks is sort of retreat back, guys. A lot of us have been working a lot on the outer, and that's good and that's fun. But retreat back and put special emphasis on the inner. It's like Jesus says in the scriptures, take no thought for the morrow. Take no thought for what shall we eat, what shall we wear. For all of the Gentiles, or in our case, the people who don't know interiorism, worry and think about these things. Rather seek ye first the kingdom, And by the kingdom, I mean the interior kingdom, guys, the within. Seek ye first within. Seek ye first the present moment. In fact, seek that above all. And don't worry about going lopsided, so to speak, into the spiritual. Don't worry about getting too much into the spiritual. What's the worst that could happen? Okay, let's say that by getting too much into the spiritual, you'll miss out on something in the physical. We know that that's not possible because of the tenets of interiorism, that the inner is the outer, and when you surrender on the inner, there's better energy. Therefore, that automatically takes you to a more desirable film role. We know that. But let's say that that wasn't the case. Let's say the materialists were right and you could take away from the work that you need to be doing on the outer to get to that $1 million. But if you're focused on the inner and you're completely happy, why would you care about what's going on in the outer? That's the paradox. So, of course, while on this channel we talk about being balanced, we talk about actions that you can take and should take to get free, to provide a framework, and we'll continue doing that. I just want to contemplate and remind you of the fact that you can't get too much involved in the inner work. In fact, do the inner work more. Risk becoming unbalanced towards the inner. And I promise the outer is going to show you that by doing that, you'll be living a life with virtually no effort, and you'll be completely happy because you'll be in the present moment and you'll be surrendering on the inner. Of course, this is for people who are ready for it. Contemplate that. Why is it important? Why is it important that we need to go back to and emphasize the outer when we have this key, when we have this tool that guarantees us complete happiness and a permanent state of flow on the inner? And as we know from interiorism, the inner is the outer. Just a quick contemplation. Think about it, guys. And remember, I am doing coaching calls. I can take you through this modality. I can teach you how to go on the inner. And by doing that, all the results in your outer life are going to show up without you taking thought. I will put my email in the description. So thanks, guys. See you in a few hours for the interview with Jim Rogers.